Good morning, it's Jonathan Barrett with the morning debrief. It's currently 7:35 and it's the 17th of August. I guess the markets keep unfolding, there's no doubt about it. Obviously last night we had Europe, concerns there, a meeting between obviously Euro and Germany, basically just trying to work out, nut out a plan. It appears the market didn't get exactly what they wanted, but it's certainly a step in the right direction. There was a call for the issue of Euro bonds to shore up the debt concern. That didn't eventuate. However, Merkel did suggest that they would actually increase the level of governance, and I think that's a step in the right direction. The market sort of really didn't enjoy it too much. As a result of that, I think the US market actually came under pressure. The announcement came out after the European markets had already closed. So we might get a little bit of fallout later this afternoon. Okay, let's just have a look at some of the quick points. I think across the board, one of the interesting ones is the Fitch Ratings decided not to downgrade the US debt on US credit rating. But they did put them on notice that it would occur if they didn't see any drastic results in some of their plans. But if anything there, basically it's quite a little bit of encouragement, but at the end of the day it didn't do too much in terms of supporting the market. There's a little bit of news, Merkel and Sarkozy to shun Euro bonds. That's what the market was looking for, and as a result of that we saw a little bit of concern. Just looking at that, that's interesting here with the rice and food inflation. Rice prices will continue to rise with what's happening in Malaysia. I think that to me is a concern because that's obviously that food inflation. Also, considering we've got bad weather in the US, keep an eye on rice because it might brace through that 1750 level. Okay, let's have a quick overview of where the markets are actually trading. That's just coming up now. The Dow closed down 76 points. Well, it's had 3 days of straight run, so a little bit of profit taking's on the cards. S&P was down 11, Nasdaq was down 31. Top 50 was very mild. I think the market was just waiting for this news from Sarkozy and Merkel. The top 50 was down just 0.8%. The FTSE was up 7, CAC was down 8, DAX was down 27. Closer to home, our market was only down 4 points, 4,224. So relatively stable on that front. Okay, let's have a look at general commodities now. And let's just have a look at, I suppose first of all, let's have a look at the dollar index. Dollar index stable, that big fall we had the other day on the back of the status quo, but we're right on support. Now it's either going to bust through this level, 73.80 and or 73, and head right lower. I think if that's on the cards, then we come down to those lows, which we have talked about that's becoming boring, I think, for some time. There we are there. And if you really look at where the lows of the lows are for that dollar, obviously we got down to 72.87 and all the way down there, excuse me, at 71. So look, whilst these areas remain intact, you've just got to remain with it. The chances are obviously a test of 73.60 and 72.70 are fully on the card. What did that do with the Aussie? Aussie 104.70 came back, I guess, just a little bit, but overall, because the yield play, the market's quite happy to run with it. There it is there, up a little bit, but going sideways. Obviously, a breakthrough 103.70 puts the skids on it, but if it does come back to that 102, I think it's not a bad area to buy. Likewise, a breakthrough 105, you've got to run with it to the top side. Looking at dollar yen, very stable, probably expect some form of intervention. Market is concerned that we have reached a bit of a low, so just be careful on that. Obviously stops at 77.10.15 if you are caught with a long position. That stop is a stop entry. Okay, let's have a look at gold. Gold seems to have benefited last night purely on the back of there's still issues in Europe. The news is out, we're out there, it's sort of, they're looking for areas to try and solve it. So I look to think that perhaps gold is struggling to move on, but let's see what happens. Look, it's all Europe at the moment. I think the States is out of the equation, so is it warranted that gold is at these levels? We'll just have to wait and see. But good news on silver. Silver did have a little bit of a lift back above that 40. but as we know, it's certainly way behind what's happening in the gold market. Okay, looking at crude, 87.15. I think at the end of the day, look, I think it's what we said has happened. Look, it's in a range. If you can see it down at 82, I'd look for it and look to go long again. We are out of that position. Copper, we are long copper. Got a small position on copper, 399. I like the sort of formation, still like, and the fact that it's bouncing here probably suggests that China will come back to the fray, and onwards and upwards she would go. This is also makes quite constructive, and I actually do like the look of this technically. Okay, just having a look at some of the softs. 1340 for soybeans, and you can just see, we mentioned it the other day, it just seems to be going in a big wide range, but we're actually holding and treading water at the moment. And there we are in that range. Probably expect the top end to be tested, 1390 in the not too distant future. Keep an eye on rice, obviously, with what's happening in Malaysia. And look, I think the chances are, just have a look at the daily chart here, and you can see that we are right on those highs. So we've really got to see it break through 17, 20, 30, and then we're onwards and upwards. So we are at the top end of the range, but if the market spends most of its time ranging, well, maybe it'll spend too much time, and then eventually it'll probably trade to the top side. Let's see what happens. Okay, now that's pretty much all I've got to add on that. I guess the most important thing is the economic calendar, which is due, which the numbers out tonight. We do have quite a bit of data. In Australia, we've got Westpac leading index and wage costs, but as we move to America, they're the key there. Producer prices, I think, will be the lead for what's out on Wednesday. Sorry, producer out on Thursday, sorry. So that'll be the lead data for what's out on Thursday. That, to me, is the Tier 1 data for the week. As you can see on Thursday, CPI, the big number, leading indicators, existing home sales, and the like. So there's quite a lot of data out on Thursday, but as I suggested, the lead indicator will be out on wet tonight. That'll give us a bit of a clue as to where we see inflation in the States actually heading. Probably expecting a pretty tempered number, nothing too aggressive, but still that's something which we do want at the moment. Well, that's pretty much it from me for the morning debrief. I think, if anything, a little bit hard. Look for signals in the gold market that it's probably getting a little bit weaker there. There is a lot of calls for people thinking of going to 2,000. I'm not quite ready for that to occur yet, and we'll have to wait and see. There's no new news out there that would cause it. Other trades, copper I like at the moment. Crude oil, I'm out of positions and just looking for a better place to get in. But that's it from me. Have a great day. We'll talk to you later, and good luck trading.